Sabaha everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about the iPhone 7. Specifically the things that I like and the things I didn't like about the iPhone 7 since I've been using it as my daily driver. I had to return the Note 7 because of the recall, so I've been using the iPhone 7 till the V20 comes out, so this is kind of like a transition phone. But I want to share with you guys my opinion as an Android enthusiast, what I think of the iPhone 7. Does this cut it as far as a flagship device that can basically become your daily driver? Let's check it out. Here we have the iPhone 7. This is a 4.7-inch display. This is running the new technology that we have as far as the Force Touch. So you notice it's not a button anymore. And essentially it's a motorized button that goes under it and you put your pressure on it and it unlocks and gets you into it. But it also gives you the ability to press it once. It doesn't unlock the device. We'll cancel here. You can go in. You have access to widgets. You have access to the camera. And if you're running a music app, you can actually swipe up from the bottom. Or you can just rest your finger, it unlocks it. This is something that I enjoy very much on this device, as the new implementation of this button is much better than we had before. The next thing I want to say that I definitely do like about this is the new black color. Now, this is not the super slippery version, this is the matte black, and it looks amazing well. You can still see the Apple logo here. The camera has a little bit of a protrusion. The tone, I think I want to say it's a two-tone flash in the back, looks very nice. I'm going to unlock it again. It is water resistant, which is very nice, and that's something that I really enjoyed on it. It's something that we haven't seen before on an iPhone. Now, I'm going to say that the iPhone 6s Plus definitely holds its own in water. Now, I haven't tried dunking that one in water, but this, having been able to do the video for you guys here, and when I went into the pool and I took it all the way to the bottom of the pool, very, very nice. Now, the other thing I want to mention to you guys, what I really enjoy with this phone, is the fact that we have now OIS on the actual 7 design. Last year's design, we didn't get OIS unless you had the 6s Plus, I believe. So here with the iPhone 7 at the 4.7-inch display, it's the exact same camera as the iPhone 7 Plus, with the exception that the iPhone 7 has a dual camera on the side, on the back. So we still have the same benefit there, and it's very nice to see that we have OIS on the camera, specifically on the bottom model. And the next thing I want to talk to you guys again is the fact that we have no more 16 gigabytes of storage. The base model now is 32 gig, which I think we should have been at a long time ago, with the fact that we keep getting better cameras. But at the end of the day, we're not getting better hardware to be able to support it. And we had to pay extra to go to 32 gig even. So 32 gig, 128, 256, definitely a plus. I like that. The next thing I want to mention to you guys that I definitely enjoy is the stereo speakers, or the implementation of stereo speakers. So this is my music playback. I'm just going to play a song. We're getting audio directly from the headphone, from the earpiece, and the speaker on the bottom right. So that's something that we don't normally have with the iPhone 6s or 6 or any of the other generations. We've been using it, and it's been basically stuck at mono speaker for a long time, and we finally have a better representation. So when you're listening and watching music, watching music videos or watching videos, you're definitely going to enjoy using this and having the experience of the sound coming at you as opposed to going away and you have to kind of cup it all the time. One of the last things I want to show you guys that I definitely do enjoy here is iMessage. Now, iMessage has a lot of new features that's been added, but that's part of iOS 10. And I like the fact that we're able to basically add different tricks, different implementations of messages, read receipts, delivery. It still works very, very nice. And I like the fact that it's been upgraded to add some new tricks that if you have an Apple Watch, you're definitely going to enjoy it even more. But the ability to basically go in, add different tricks here, adding video, messages, calligraphy, all the different things like that, and then just send it this way, and it'll draw. Of course, it's not working here, but it'll draw that way on the other side if you're using an iOS to an iOS side. Let's go ahead and switch over to the things that I'm not necessarily too keen on. Now, although we have widgets on the left side that gives us the ability of interacting with them, like the weather, the recents, the recommendations, we still don't have widgets on the home screen. We still don't have the ability of customizing our home screen outside of just putting it in a grid. And it's pretty much been the same design for a long, long time. I mean, the ability to double tap and bring it down, that's nice. It gives us the ability to work with that, but this is a 4.7-inch display. I really wish we had a better implementation of widgets, or at least maybe the ability to basically organize it in a better way to have widgets on our home screen and not just keep them on the side. We still, of course, have the ability of controlling the ability at the bottom here with the control center. It's very nice, but again, the implementation just really is not as clean as it can be. When it comes to files and connecting and transferring files to your Apple device or here with your iPhone, you're pretty much stuck to using iTunes. If you haven't used it before, you're pretty much stuck using it. Then that's one thing that I'm really frustrated with the iOS device this year is that, or even any other generations, is the fact that you cannot sideload files to this device. Let's say if you want to put movies on it, and you want to store some movies, you don't have the ability of doing any of that unless you use iTunes. So if you don't have a PC, you're pretty much stuck, or at least a PC with your iTunes that's trusted to this device, not just any iTunes too. So you're kind of limited in the sense of how flexible this device is. And I wish we had something else on that. This isn't really a big thing for me, but the fact of the matter is 4.7 inches is pretty small in this year. And I think 5 inches would have been a much better implementation. I know they're trying to stay hardcore to their original fans of the original 4.7 inches, but I think like they kept themselves in that position and they're not going anywhere. And I mean, it's a nice slim design. An additional 0.3 inches would have got them right at that 5-inch display and would have been really, really nice, and also would have been a nice bump in display resolution. I'm going to talk about this because a lot of people have covered this before, and it's definitely going to be something very interesting, and it's the lack of the headphone jack. And I say this because now, although we do have a headphone option here, which we're able to plug into the bottom of the device, and now we do have the ability of using our standard 3.5mm headphone jack, this piece of hardware is going to be lost. This is going to be something that you're almost never going to use if you have it. And if you don't have it, you're probably never going to know what to do with it because you don't know where to put it. If you put it somewhere where it's going to be with your headphones, then you have to have it on one set of headphones. Unless you go out, you're doing something else, you don't have a way of putting it in. And then when you're using this, you're going to have a very hard time getting around the fact that you cannot charge your device. So if you've been listening to this for a while, it's at the end of the day, and you want to listen to more music, but your headphone jack is the only thing that you have to play with, you're pretty much going to have to charge it first, wait for it to charge, and then go start using the headphone jack. So that's a little bit limiting, and I wish they would have figured out a way to make it at least charge and listen to music with a simple adapter as opposed to this $9 adapter that we're going to be losing very quickly. Bluetooth issues have been plaguing iOS 10 since release, and the iPhone 7 unfortunately did not get any kind of excuse from that. I use the smartwatch, I use the Huawei watch. You guys have seen this with me on my channel for a while. I did not pick up an Apple Watch. I wanted to use it because you can use an Android watch or an Android Wear watch on an iOS device. So when I installed it and it synced up for the first time when I used Android Wear, I realized very quickly that I lost signal and it would not connect again to my device, which made it very frustrating for me to be able to keep getting notifications. So that's something that's inherently wrong with the software, and I'm not sure if it's just specific to the Android Wear watch because I've been able to listen to music using Bluetooth headphones fine, but when it comes to actual Android Wear, I keep losing sync. So hopefully the 10.0.2 does fix that permanently, but I still have some disconnects every once in a while, and I hope they fixed that problem. This little issue for me is mind-boggling, and I say that because this is the camera app. Getting into the camera app is very simple. You can switch to video, you can go to slow-mo, time-lapse, photo, square, pano, all these different options. Change HDR, you can add the live photo option here or not. But to change the resolution on this, you actually have to do this. You have to get out of the application, go to settings. Doesn't make sense to me. Again, and then you go to photo and camera, and then you can go in. You can turn on grid from here. You can't turn it on from the app. You have to go to record video, change it to even turn it on to go into 4K at 30 frames per second. It's set by default to 1080p. But again, all of these things should not be in here. They really should be as an option within a button here. It makes no sense for anybody that owns a camera, because if you have to do this in the middle of when you're trying to take a shot, imagine it, you just pretty much lost the shot. And that's something that's frustrating for me. And I hope with the implementation of any other updates that Apple puts out that they fix this and just bring the setting back into here. I mean, settings doesn't have to have everything. And the last thing I want to mention to you guys is kind of like a good and bad thing. The good thing is that Apple allows us now to be able to uninstall certain specific apps on our device. And I say this meaning if I press and hold on Safari, Safari is not an uninstallable app, but I can remove reminders, I can remove videos, I can remove the calendar app, the weather, I can do whatever I want to be able to customize it. But when you remove a system app that is considered to be a requirement, meaning if I ask Siri, give me directions to go to the museum.
Getting directions to Heritage Junction Historic Park.
And this is what comes up. Now, I do have Maps installed by Google. It does not recognize that. And the only thing it wants to do for me is to restore Maps, the Apple Maps, from the Play Store, from the App Store. I keep making that mistake. And then that's the only way for it to start automatic navigation. Now, I understand you're going to say, well, look, this is Siri. It's only going to work with Apple systems. But the fact of the matter is, on Android, you can set default apps. And I do have Maps. I could just go ahead and do this one. So for me, I really find that this is something they need to address. If they allow you to remove the apps from the system, they should give you the ability to control it so that you can automatically default it to whatever your preference is. Let's say I want to use a different calendar application. Is it always going to point me to the wrong calendar if I say set a reminder? So these are things that I wish they would have thought about before giving us the ability to remove system-based applications so that really true integration for Siri with the rest of our system happens. When we take a look at the list of things that I like and the things that I don't like, I find it very hard to be able to say I can definitely switch over to an iPhone as my daily driver for a long time. I'm always going to be looking for something to be able to do, to tinker, to change operating system, root the device, do many things to my phone to truly enjoy it. And I find that the iOS ecosystem is still limited, and it may work for people. I mean, it depends on your expectations from your device. I expect a lot more of my device now in 2016 with what Android's been offering and bringing to the table for the last 3 years than what I'm expecting out of the iPhone 7. And the reality of the matter is, when I set my expectations like that, the iPhone 7 does well, and it does well in that sense. Does it blow me out of the water? No. The waterproofing or the water resistance that we have now and the stereo speaker implementations are nice, but again, a little bit behind Samsung in the sense that we've had it since the beginning of the year. Also, this is, it's kind of like a no-brainer. You should have done this a long time ago. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you pick up any of the flagships from this year or any other device that may have even better specs than what the iPhone 7 has? But other than that, like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.